Welcome back to From My Living Room to Yours. This has been a hard year for all of us in so many different ways. We recently conducted a survey about worship options here at St. Andrew's because as we move into this next phase of our shared life, which will include a major construction project, we know our capacity to use our campus will continue to have limits. So we are exploring what we hope are creative alternatives. We're even asking our architects and contractors to help us come up with a phasing plan that might cost more money but would allow us to use some spaces before others. As I feared, however, the survey results are completely across the board and there will be absolutely no way to please everyone. We're still compiling these results, so we're not ready to share them, but we will soon. In the meantime, I'm going to address a couple of things I read in the survey results. One of them that stands out for me most is that while many of you feel connected to the St. Andrew's community and cared for over the past 14 months, despite the pandemic, others of you have felt neglected. I feel very sad about that. The task force, your vestry, and I did as much as we thought we could over the past year, but I hear that wasn't enough for some parishioners. I think this boils down to the size and demand of our congregation. We're big enough that we demand the time of 2 full-time clergy and a full-time staff. Unfortunately, our budget only supports 1.25 clergy and a half-time team of staff members. So our strategy was to find as many touch points as possible for the entire parish. In those first few months of the pandemic, I provided 2 of these videos each week. A phone tree was activated to be sure each member was called, and we offered several opportunities for parishioners to join Zoom town hall type meetings. Otherwise, I'm not sure how I could have found the time to call each family individually. Unfortunately, I was scrambling to learn things I'd never thought I'd have to, like Zoom, how to operate a sound system so that we could record online worship, and making other important decisions about PPP loans and how to handle the other day-to-day operations of a parish our size remotely. Although I understand many people watched way more TV than usual, discovered new books, and learned new hobbies, I didn't have time for any of that. I was dedicated to helping our community feel connected, a vocation I love and take very seriously. The other thing I want you to know is that Bishop Susan meets with a task force every other week. Early on, she put together this team of epidemiologists, physicians, other healthcare workers, and clergy to advise her on best practices. As you know, her guidelines have been more cautious than the governor's guidelines. But her policy throughout the pandemic has been that our job is to protect the most vulnerable among us. To do that, she has required us to follow her more cautious guidelines. They are guidelines based in science and not just on somebody's opinion or desire. As a result, there have only been a couple of minor outbreaks in our diocese over these last 14 months. So my plea today is that we all continue to be as patient as we can as we endeavor to find creative ways of coming together in community. We are still St. Andrew's. No matter what is happening on our campus, we are here for each other. I am here for you, and I remind you that I have openings for individual appointments, and now we can do them in person. Hopefully, we will all share with each other the grace that God shows us, to know and trust that we are each doing our best in the midst of very trying circumstances. I also invite you to reflect on the promise Christ makes that everything will be made new. When we do come back together inside the nave, hopefully soon, it will not feel the same as it did before, because God makes all things new. through our trials and tribulations. Our faith journey will be made new through God's grace, love, and transformation. I want to leave you with a few stanzas from one of John O'Donohue's Book of Blessings. As far as you can, hold your confidence. Do not allow your confusion to squander this call which is loosening your roots in false ground, that you might come free from all that you have outgrown. What is being transfigured here is your mind, and it is difficult and slow to become new. The more faithfully you can endure here, the more refined your heart will become for your arrival in the new dawn. Until next time, be humble, be grateful, be kind.